Hello and welcome back to my channel. I have another sketchbook review video for you guys because the last sketchbook review video I did was pretty successful and that was fun to film, so here is another one. The star of today's show is the Limelight All Craft Journal. I was inspired to get a craft sketchbook because last year I took Nathan Fouke's schoolism class on gouache, and he mentioned that he sketched on craft paper and that he uses inks on it, and I wanted to try it for myself, so I got one. This particular craft sketchbook cost 220 pesos for two. Yeah, you get a buy one get one deal for that price. The cover comes in brown or black, and I believe the one with the black cover is more expensive at 260 pesos. I'll link the online shop I got it from down in the description box below. So the paper of this sketchbook has unlined paper at 120 GSM thickness, and I find that the paper doesn't have much texture to it. It's pretty smooth. But the only downside I have with this sketchbook is that it's bound by rings, so it makes it awkward for someone who is left-handed like me to use it. But it's only a pretty minor downside since I can just turn it on its side so it's more comfortable for me to use. So I'm using different types of paint to test out the paper. I find that it can handle acrylic, gouache, and watercolor really well. By the way, the watercolor I'm using is these cheap Symbolian watercolors you can find at National Bookstore. They're cheap, but they dry down slightly chalky. Some colors dry down chalky, but overall, for someone who doesn't use watercolor that much, I think they're pretty pigmented and just works fine for me. So for the three paints, I find that the paper doesn't warp much, or perhaps it does, but it's not too obvious because of the color of the paper. The brown makes it seem like it doesn't warp much, but I think the paper is pretty sturdy. So to demonstrate how the sketchbook performs, I decided to paint this scene from The Wind Rises by Studio Ghibli. It's been a while since I watched this movie and I honestly don't remember much from it, but Like with any Ghibli film, I love the art, and I understand why art YouTubers love painting scenes from Studio Ghibli. This was fun to paint and fun to film, and I think I want to do another paint with me of Studio Ghibli scenes. For the previous sketchbook review video I did, I remember doing like a 20-minute painting challenge to test how well the paper of the pink limelight sketchbook can handle water. But for this sketchbook test, I didn't put a time limit on myself since this is the first time I'm directly copying a scene from an anime movie. And I wanted this painting session to be more experimental, more chill, and no pressure. So for now, I'll let the music play and come back at the end of the video for my final thoughts. So my final thoughts on the sketchbook. First, I personally think you get a great deal getting 2 sketchbooks for 220 pesos. The paper is good and you can use craft paper for other things like scrapbooking and collages. Second is with the way I personally use watercolor and gouache, I think the paper of the sketchbook can handle them well. The warping of the paper is minimal for me. A minor downside for me is that it's wire bound. Because I'm left-handed, it won't be the most comfortable sketchbook to use, but again, it's only minor and I can look past it. I can just turn it on its side and I can use it comfortably. Lastly, I'm really happy that I can use mixed media on it. I did use acrylic, gouache, and watercolor earlier on it, but I find that you can also use inks and micron pens on the paper and the ink won't bleed through. So I recommend the sketchbook for mixed media art. So overall, I love the sketchbook, and if you want to try doing art on brown or tone paper, I highly recommend that you get one of these, or 2 of these rather, since it's a buy one get one deal. So that's it for my sketchbook review. I hope I convinced you how good this sketchbook is, and thank you for watching. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok if I set it up by the time I post this video, so follow in my socials and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you.